Do your conversations ever feel like an interview with the same boring questions and the same boring answers? People don't remember what you say, but instead how you made them feel. So if they have an awkward chat with you, they'll just think you're boring. But if you can have a fun conversation where the other person is laughing, they'll see you as an interesting person who they want to be around. So I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to go straight into 4 quick tips to make small talk fun so you can stop those awkward silences and build a lasting connection with someone. The first tip to make conversation fun is to use conversation starters. If you're catching up with a family member or a friend, a great question that you can steal from me that I love asking is, what's been the highlight of your last few weeks? Normally we ask such boring questions like, oh, how's work, how's the family? And so you just have the same conversations with people when you're catching up every single time. But I found when I ask people what's been the highlight of your last few weeks, they often come out with really random things that they've never shared with me before. Another question that you can use, but if you're meeting someone for the first time, is if you just won the lottery and you won £100 million, what would you do with your time? Again, I found that this is a really good question because it cuts all the small talk and it gets people to talk about what they're actually interested in and passionate about. You know, some people would say to me, I'd quit my job and I'd move to Brazil and I'd just kayak all day. So you can use those 2 conversation starters to avoid having those same boring conversations with people. And I really recommend you using these because one small 5-second question can shape the next 20 minutes of conversation you have with someone and just make it a lot more fun. The second way to make small talk fun is to prepare an elevator pitch. If I was in a conversation with someone and they said, "Oi, Covey, tell me a bit more about yourself," I've already prepared a few lines of what I'd say. My common response is that I finished university last year. I then did a 10-week summer internship in the wealth management division of a bank, and I specifically chose that because I love people and the job is really client facing. I was lucky enough to then convert that into a full-time job, and the start date was a year later, so I've been on a gap year where I traveled to South America where I had the 6 happiest weeks of my life. So with an elevator pitch, you need to prepare a few lines about yourself, and the key is to make sure you have a few different things in there. For example, for mine, I made sure to include a university, a bank, and traveling. And the reason why I have such a variety of things there is because one person might be really interested in finance, and so they'll ask more questions about the banking side, whereas another person might think banking's really boring and actually they'd be more interested in asking about the traveling. But the key takeaway here for you is to prepare a few different areas of your life that might be interesting to other people and be ready to say that when they ask you about yourself. And the benefit of having a strong elevator pitch is that the other person is likely to see some things that they have in common with you, so you're able to quickly skip the small talk and get an interesting conversation going. The third tip to make small talk fun is to be genuinely interested in the other person. There's a mindset that I have when I meet someone for the first time, and that is, we've gone our whole lives not knowing each other, and we've just randomly come together in this room, and we have the next 5 minutes, and in this 5 minutes you can share me your biggest learnings, biggest regrets, and this mindset means I'm actually interested in the other person. And so when you're meeting someone for the first time, have the mindset that there's something for you to learn and gain from that conversation. Because if in your head you just think, oh, I'm gonna have this conversation with this boring person, then the conversation is just gonna be a boring one. But instead, if you're genuinely interested in the other person, then they'll be interested in you and you'll have a fun conversation. If you're getting value from this, please subscribe. It helps me, and it will also mean that you get more helpful videos like this on your algorithm. The fourth way to make small talk fun is to give a compliment. The key with this is to praise other people, but you need to make sure that your compliments are genuine. And a quick way to make sure that the compliments you give other people are genuine and not fake is by thinking in your head, what do I genuinely admire about this person and what do they have that I don't? For example, you can compliment something they're wearing if you really like their shirt or their watch, or you can give compliments on their personality if they're someone who's witty or someone who's generous. And for me personally, I've been in awkward conversations where perhaps the other person's being a bit cold, and I've given genuine compliments and their whole face just lights up and the whole dynamic of the conversation changes. So if you want to make small talk a bit more fun and exciting, give a genuine compliment. I want to end by asking you to think which point resonated most out of use conversation starters, prepare an elevator pitch, be genuinely interested, and give a compliment. And promise yourself that the next time you're in conversation with someone, you will use that tip. Whilst making small talk fun is really important, there's 5 subtle ways that you might be killing conversations, and I've made a video on it linked over here. So check that out. Thanks for watching and see you later.